Do you hear that? It sounds it sounds a lot like The Call of the Wild, which happens to be the movie that I'm reviewing tonight. Now, I know I have a new look. I haven't changed at all. I still love classics. But welcome. I'm Ian Patrick, and tonight's movie is Call of the Wild, and it came out in 1935. It's a classic Clark Gable movie, one of his earlier films. Stars him, Loretta Young, Jack Oakie, and Buck the dog. Now, right away I'll say, if you love dogs, then you will definitely love this movie. It is a great dog film, great adventure film. In fact, it was even filmed on location in Alaska. If you've never read Jack London's book, The Call of the Wild, I would recommend it. It's a great American novel. And basically what the story is about is this man is looking for gold in Alaska, and of course the man is Clark Gable. He's looking for gold in Alaska, and his buddy Jack Oakie is with him, and they come across a beautiful woman, Loretta Young, who her husband is gone missing. And she, of course, has the map to where the gold is, the gold mine that they're looking for. And she goes along with them. It's a little bit like an Indiana Jones movie. You know, the girl goes along with Indiana, but in this case it's Loretta Young and Clark Gable. And he convinces her to, show where the gold is. And that's pretty much the plot of the story. Now, Clark Gable, this is earlier in his career. He has so much energy. He is just fantastic in this movie. Loretta Young, this is actually the film that Loretta Young and Clark Gable happen to have an affair together. I know Clark Gable is very famous for having many affairs, King of Hollywood, and in this affair, apparently there was a storm, a snowstorm, and they had a child together, and it was a huge scandal. Loretta Young didn't want anybody to know about it, so what she did is she locked herself away, she had the baby, and she put her daughter up for adoption. Well, she put her in an orphanage, and after a few years had passed, I think maybe a year or two, she went to the orphanage and adopted the baby, her own, just to cover this up from the media. Now, I have a quote from the director of The Call of the Wild, and what he said about this child is actually pretty funny. Director William Wellman had this to say: "When the film was finished, Loretta disappeared for a while, and later showed up with a daughter with the biggest ears I have ever saw, except on an elephant." And of course, everyone knows Clark Gable is famous for having huge ears. And if you Google search Judy Lewis, that's the daughter. She is the spitting image of Clark Gable. It's pretty funny. Jack Oakie, who is the comic relief of the movie, he's pretty well known for being in The Great Dictator. He plays the Mussolini character alongside Charlie Chaplin, and he is just hilarious. I was happy to have seen him in another movie. He's just very naturally funny. Watch for the campfire scenes. He's very entertaining to watch, especially with Gable and Young. And Buck the dog. Buck the dog is a half wolf, half Saint Bernard dog, and he's huge. The relationship between Clark Gable and Buck is just so sweet, and any dog lovers, it will really hit it home to you. Note the scene where Gable actually saves Buck from being shot by a rich British man who's just a snob and wants to shoot the dog for no reason. He saves the dog. It's very cute, and just seeing their relationship grow together. And also, in my opinion, the best scene of the movie is a scene where Gable makes a bet that his dog can push a sleigh full of a ton of weight. And I won't tell you what happens, but it's a very, very interesting scene. Um, just be sure to watch out for that. um, One thing to note is the energy between Loretta Young and Clark Gable. You can pretty much tell that they are in love. They just have great chemistry together. The fact that the film was filmed in Alaska makes it just a really magical film. I highly recommend you watch it. It has great action. It's a good story. Of course, it comes from a great novel, The Call of the Wild. I'm going to give this movie 3.5 stars, almost a perfect, which I was actually surprised. I wasn't expecting this movie to be so amazing, but it really was. It was a good movie for kids, just for people who love dogs, and I highly recommend seeing it. My only flaw with the film was at the very end. It's one of those, typical Hollywood films from back in the day where it just ends so abruptly, and you're like, that the end shows up on the screen, and you're just like, really, that's how it ends? But it ends so abruptly, just in a funny scene between Clark Gable and Jack Oakie. And in my opinion, it should have ended where there's a cute scene where Buck the dog, he has a little romance with a wolf out in the wild, of course, and it shows Buck and his wolf and their little puppies. And that's just my opinion, is that the film should have ended right there. It would have been really cute and would have matched better with the title, Call of the Wild. Um, Anyways, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoy the film. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. I'll be sure to come out with a lot more reviews. I'm back. I have a haircut. And anyways, have a good night, guys.